welcome to Exploring Sovereignty with Elizabeth. And we are in studio today with Dr. Erika Way, who has been on a journey of transformation for the past 17 years, but she has brought so much health and wellness to the Twin Cities area with her clinic Beyond Chiropractic that is now being expanded into Beyond Wellness. And under Beyond Wellness, there's Beyond Chiropractic, but there's also Beyond Oxygen. She is bringing hyperbaric chambers to the Twin Cities so that people can really go into a deeper realm of healing and utilize the modalities that she has at her clinic and beyond to support their health and well-being. And she has done the research, she has done the training, she has taken the deep dive, and I am delighted to listen into what her transformation has been since she got the hit last March that hyperbaric chambers needed to come to the Twin Cities. So if you're curious what that is and why you would want more oxygen and how that might help you in your health journey and getting yourself more sovereign, more free, and stepping more into your true potential as a human on earth, definitely don't want to miss this show and join us for the conversation ahead with Dr. Erika Way at Beyond Wellness and learn what hyperbaric chamber therapy, HBOT, is all about. Welcome back to Exploring Sovereignty with Elizabeth. We are in studio today with Dr. Erika Way. Thank you for joining us, Erika.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. And you, Dr. Erika Way, is a functional medicine doctor, also a doctor of chiropractic and an advanced practitioner in QNRT, quantum neuro reset therapy, and has been on this beautiful journey of bringing health and wellness to many over the last 17 years. And you're at an exciting time with the work you're doing right now because you've been in the Twin Cities under Beyond Chiropractic and you're under a transformation and moving into Beyond Wellness and Beyond Oxygen. And you're in studio to share this transformation with us.
I am. Thanks so much.
It's delightful to have you. So Dr. Erika has been a longtime supporter of the show, and you've been on twice before. So for our listeners who are tuning in today, if this is your first exposure to Dr. Erika, please go back and listen to some of the previous shows. We'll put that in our description so you can find them with ease. But tell us a little bit about your metamorphosis you're going through right now with your business and kind of what, for those listeners that may be new to you, how you found yourself in the realm that you work with and partner with people.
Well, so last March, I had an epiphany, and I think that each and every individual has their own way that they glean information or know what their next steps are, but mine are always knowings.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized at that moment that I needed to bring hyperbaric oxygen to my patients and to my community. And hyperbaric oxygen has a rich history of helping people with wound care, diabetic neuropathy, and some of these major medical interventions. But what people aren't aware of are the longevity benefits and the rejuvenation that hyperbaric brings. So I've always considered myself a maximizer. And so I believe that if you want to, for example, improve your immune system, you could take vitamin C, which we all know about. But what if we stacked modalities? What if we did chiropractic adjusting and supported our diet with healthier food and maybe gave a strong array of healthy vegetables and nutrients? That would give a greater benefit to our immune system than just taking vitamin C, although you could look at many studies that say vitamin C is optimal for improving health. and certainly the
Absolutely.
immune system. So I work with a population of patients that are interested in optimal health. Many of them have struggled with chronic fatigue or Lyme, autoimmune disease, certainly chronic inflammation. And they come to me and we look at what the root cause is of that dysfunction. If it's um, a lot of people, for example, have this low grade inflammation. They don't understand what that is, but it over time erodes the immune system and
Hmm.
can cause inflammation. And we address what causes that. Oftentimes it's food or a nutrient insufficiency or a hidden infection. It can be heavy metal toxicity. So in the functional medicine perspective, we explore root cause. But when it comes to healing that, um, everybody is at their own pace and they come to me at their own level. But introducing hyperbaric oxygen, which is putting you, the human being, in a chamber under pressure. So we are giving you oxygen, concentrated oxygen under pressure. We're able to force into your plasma and tissues extra oxygen.
Amazing.
Our red blood cells, as we know, if we get a pulse oximeter and we put it on our finger, it's going to say somewhere between 96 and 100%. That is our oxygen carrying capacity. But when we put oxygen under pressure, oxygen being the fuel that allows, one of the primary fuels that allows our cells to create more ATP cellular energy, then we have given the body more tools and more energy to heal tissue faster.
Every time you say under pressure, I want that song to start playing.
What song?
Under pressure.
I don't know.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, we might have to cue that
We
in.
might
Brett.
have to.
You'll have to see if you can, our production agent can support us in that. But so it's fascinating. So you've been since last March when you
Mhm.
got this knowing, because
Mhm.
everyone gets their hits differently, intuitively, and then that guides the exploration or the research or the people we meet and opportunities we have. You've been shifting from beyond chiropractic because you've always done more than, and not that just chiropractic isn't lovely. It's
Right.
beautiful modality.
100%. Yep.
But you've incorporated a lot more with the functional medicine, the QNRT, the energy work, all the other modalities that you've done a deep training in.
Mm-hmm.
And you're shifting into what is being rebranded as Beyond Wellness.
I am. And it's really interesting because, again, it's all a journey. And
Correct.
so I had decided, my knowing was I was going to open a clinic called Beyond Oxygen. And then as I was exploring where that might be located and all of those fine-tuning items, it came into my awareness after working with colleagues and talking to them that maybe we open up a clinic that offers what Beyond Chiropractic offers, what Beyond Oxygen offers,
Mm-hmm.
and then the concept of Beyond Wellness came into being. And so the way we're looking at that is Beyond Wellness is a brick and mortar clinic, but it's also an umbrella clinic that houses Beyond Chiropractic, Beyond Oxygen. And I'm also working with a nurse practitioner that does nutritional IVs, PRP, which is platelet-rich plasma, which is also used for joint issues and pain and rejuvenation, and also for facials. It's the very healthy, natural Botox, so to speak. And then she also does direct primary care. So we've established that in the brick and mortar, and then we are going to be expanding ultimately to what I would call a virtual clinic. So really bringing in hand-picked practitioners that are going to help people move into this new age that we've really kind of
Mhm.
started to embrace. And some people might say, well, Pluto just went into Aquarius. And that might be exactly what's happening here. But we are actually moving into an era where we're going to be focusing so much more on new revolutionary strategies for wellness and longevity and away from the sickness model.
Mhm.
And it's just going to accelerate. So we are offering one place where you can get so many of those strategies and healing opportunities. So we're really, really excited because if hyperbaric oxygen is amazing in and of itself, just think about how you could manifest optimal health with doing strategies and stacking modalities like using methylene blue or hydrogen and really maximizing the healing potential of oxygen. And then looking at your subconscious emotional trauma,
Mhm.
looking at the spiritual kind of connection to source and something greater than yourself. I've seen so much in my clinic already, in a vast array of different presentations.
Absolutely. And I think in yoga therapy and Ayurveda and somatics, which is an energy work, which is my background, right? And we often look at like what's the just right stimulus for someone to actually tip into their own self-healing journey. And what you're bringing forward here is that there are many ways for people to heal, and our ability to be in a state of self-healing is massive, right? And what is that just right stimulus for people at the just right time, supporting with multiple modalities, multiple practitioners that actually can look and say, oh, maybe there's a disconnect with their connection to source. Everyone's connected to source. We all know that. That's how we are here in human form. However, sometimes we forget it.
That's fair.
And so we have to remember and have practices that re-establish that connection. Sometimes it's more in what you're also naming, more in what am I eating at what point in the season with the season of my life? And is it supporting my tissues in the moment that I eat it? And then because of my digestive health, 6 weeks later, and how that manifests our tissues and our growth and our longevity. And the big thing right now is all this biohacking. At least I see all over the place. But what I love with the practitioners you and I work with and our colleagues is that that's already been built into our practice for years. And now that we're moving into, as you say, Pluto moving into Aquarius, which is this new age, this newer timeline on Earth, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for people to step more into their quantum healing at a much higher capacity with greater resource, because more things are coming as the old sick care model that has made a lot of money off of people staying sick is dematerializing.
100%. So I think I love the way you describe that because, of course, that is very much my thinking. But as a doctor, I also like to help people understand the physiology because some people, you can grasp onto physiology. Sometimes it's hard to grasp onto kind of the ethereal. So when we think about healing and what our limitations to healing are, or connection to source, or depression or anxiety, or some of those things that get in our way, I love to talk about the brain. The brain uses 20% of our body's oxygen. And so we know that if we can improve brain health and functioning, we can improve our perception and our connection. And so some of the physiological benefits of hyperbaric oxygen therapy is to eliminate inflammation, to decrease inflammation by reducing inflammatory cytokines.
What's an inflammatory cytokine for those who might be curious?
The inflammatory cytokine is a particle that is either stimulated, because we also have anti-inflammatory
Mhm.
cytokines, when we have foods or infections that are irritating our immune system.
Mm.
It's just a response. And everything in physiology is just a response. There's not an emotion. They're not the good guy or the bad guy.
Mhm.
They're there to respond, and they're trying to protect us. But what they can often do is cause more inflammation.
Mm.
So hyperbaric oxygen can reduce those cytokines. It can increase white blood cell
Mhm.
function so that we can improve our immune system. When we reduce the inflammation, for example, we take like this inflammatory crust or um, plaquing, so to speak, over the cell, and we help eliminate that. So the nutrients that we are getting, so if you are taking care of yourself and you're taking the nutrients, but you just don't seem to be getting them into the cell, reducing that inflammation can help, because those inflammatory cytokines can block some of those receptors.
Mm.
It's also really helpful to kill anaerobic bacteria. So this is bacteria and pathogens that do not like oxygen.
Mm.
So when we think about the amount of people who have intestinal dysfunction,
Mhm.
the idea is that it can not only kill some of these anaerobic bacteria like staph, but Lyme and some of the cofactors, which of course don't necessarily interfere with gut, but in that whole big picture, and it helps with the good bacteria, like good bacteria in the gut, by giving it more oxygen, it helps build those stronger.
Mm.
So it really is a very powerful tool. It also helps us create new stem cells, both regular stem cells and vascular stem cells. And that's done when our body goes through a process of reactive hypoxia. So if we are in normal oxygen and then we go under pressure and we get a lot more oxygen and then come back up to normal, our body is experiencing reactive hypoxia or relative hypoxia. So, relatively speaking, we are hypoxic coming up to normal versus being like going up to the top of the mountain and then there's no oxygen up there.
Sure.
So, our body has the same reaction, and it helps build vascular stem cells to create new vascular blood flow, which is why it's so impactful on the brain. Because at around the age of 50, we start losing our vascular production in our brain. And so that's when, without any interventions, we can start brain decline.
Can I ask a quick question?
100%.
So I mean, I would think I would be a good candidate for HBOT or hyperbaric chambers therapy. Having grappled with some autoimmune issues that stem from childhood adverse experiences. But do you need to wait to have inflammation or autoimmune or some chronic disease pattern in order to use the hyperbaric chamber, or can you do it preventatively for longevity and health? Like, I'm just thinking for our listeners, if they're like, who uses this?
Right.
Who uses this?
It's a great question. Traditionally, hyperbaric was used for like I said, diabetic neuropathy or wound healing or burns or radiation.
Or athletes too, right?
Well, and that's more of the wellness thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
I'm jumping.
well,
Sorry.
no. It's used for tissue healing, right? So if
Right.
there's an injury with athletes, absolutely. If we can get anyone and athletes in a position where they are creating more stem cells, their ligaments and tendons are going to heal faster. If we can get more blood flow to the tissue, if we can create vasculature to the tissue, we get more oxygen to the tissue. So it's for tissue and wound healing is amazing. what's really exploding around the country is just that, what you asked about, which is regenerative and functional applications. And that's one of the reasons that I brought it into my clinic, because I have a relatively, people who are with me have come to a healthy place, right? How can we maximize that, and how can we take their optimal health now and extend it as far into the future? Because longevity doesn't mean anything if you feel horrible and you're 95. What if you felt amazing and you were 95, and then in your sleep you passed away like normally we should do if we didn't have all of the toxins and inflammation, comorbidities and those sorts of things? So definitely it's used for longevity, and it's used as a strategy to help with functional medicine.
And so what's it like? Let's say I'm coming to you to do the hyperbaric chamber. Am I like, what is that experience like?
Well,
if you could explain it a little bit.
Well, sure.
I mean, like, you're fully clothed.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So you're absolutely full. First of all, anyone who would come into the clinic, whether they're an existing patient or a new patient, we have a half an hour consult with me, and we go over health history and what it is that you're looking to do, what are your goals, and then how does hyperbaric fit into that, and then are there any other modalities? So we have an opportunity to say, okay, here's where you are, and here's where you want to be. You know, for example, I had a patient come in who had heard of hyperbaric for pre and post-surgical preparation, and that is amazing. So he had just had hip surgery, literally like 3 days before he came in, full hip replacement, and he went in for 10 sessions, and his scar was completely healed, and he was walking without a cane after about 4 or 5.
Wow.
And then he came in over the weekend, and he had his cane again. I'm like, what's going on? And he said, I pushed it too hard. So, because he was feeling so good.
Yeah, fair.
But then he had another surgery shortly after that, and the pain went away faster. The scar tissue was virtually not there. Scar healed beautifully. And that was just with a total of 20 sessions. So, so we're noticing that, you know, there's people can come in because they're about to experience something like surgery, or they want to heal something. So for example, so you would ask me, I want to go into this other example, but you would ask me about what to expect. So you would expect the consultation. You would expect to get educated on the, you know, what it's like to do a deep dive. It's like you're going under sea pressure. So if you were going below, like scuba diving, for example, what does that feel like? We see how you know how to clear your ears, because as you're doing the dive, we call it, you want to be able to clear your ears. Once you're at pressure, there's no ear, you're just normally at pressure like you would be in a plane, even though you're going up versus down, it's the same concept. And then when we bring you up from pressure, there's some ear popping, and we explain that, and we make sure you know how to do that. And the first session or two, you're lying down, you have an oxygen mask on, you can bring in books, people sleep, people do meditation, and you're in at pressure for an hour.
Nice.
Now, there was a woman that I had been working with for a while, and she had been dealing with a skin infection that had tried all of the holistic things that she was asked to do in terms of different ointments and that sort of thing that might clear up the infection, and she wasn't able to do it. And sometimes that happens, right? That's why we have other strategies. So she ended up having to do 2 series of steroids in order to really get that infection under control. And it was about 80% healed. And she was a little stressed that she hadn't gotten it fully healed. So we just did 10 sessions, which is, 5 sessions a week for 2 weeks. And it was her experience was really interesting. So to keep it short, um, she felt in the first 2 to 3 sessions, her brain was actually detoxing the steroid.
Mm.
And then like the session after that, now she has been doing energy work, she's been doing QNRT, she's been doing all of this for a long time. So for those people who really have been working on their health and are wondering, is it possible to get to the next level? One of her considerations with energy work is that she didn't always feel connected to source or feel like she received the messages that she wanted to receive. So she realized that she was detoxing emotional stuff with her partner. I mean, it was just, I loved it because she was very articulate in terms of everything that she was experiencing during her HBOT experience. But at the end of it, she said that she was so much clearer in her brain, felt so much more connected to higher self. Her anxiety was less, her focus was better. 10 sessions, right? And then I talked to her a month later, and she still felt the same way with her brain and with her connection, which brings me
fascinating
to one of the amazing benefits of HBOT or hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and that is people get a little discouraged about the timing. They want to be able to do it once a week and have the benefits of hyperbaric, and we just can't do that. It's like going to the gym once a week. Is it beneficial? Sure. Is oxygen beneficial? Sure. But if you want the epigenetic benefits of hyperbaric oxygen therapy, you have to get a foundation. And depending on what you're coming in, in what condition you're coming in, that's different for everyone. But once you get the number of sessions in that are required to build that foundation, like you do going to the gym, where you have to get a certain amount of time and energy input to get to where you want to go, then it's a whole different strategy for maintenance. But that's what I love about offering hyperbaric oxygen therapy at Beyond Oxygen, because it's convenient, it is accessible where it hasn't been before. And not only that, you are working with a trained technician who knows how to operate the chambers, who knows how to work with all different kinds of responses to it. And then you get to have your program directed by me, a doctor who has all of the training for hyperbaric to add to my functional medicine and other knowledge bases. So it's really comprehensive in that way.
That's amazing. It's quite a transformation. So Beyond Chiropractic is now Beyond Wellness.
Yes.
With the Beyond Chiropractic and Beyond Oxygen
housed within it.
Yes. And you also have a nurse practitioner doing IV therapy and PRP and
direct primary care.
And you're also expanding to work more virtually with other practitioners to support areas that maybe some of your clients might need.
100%. That is that our hand chosen, right? That we, I think we can, when we're going into alternative modalities, I think there are people who put themselves out there in a way that is maybe not authentic. And we're very careful with who we would send people to, because our patients are more like our family. And I wouldn't send any one of my patients to someone who I didn't feel was an optimal fit for them, or who didn't have the optimal training for what it was that my patients were seeking.
Yeah, to support their goals.
100%.
Wellness.
Yeah, because not one person can do everything.
Right.
So we need to make sure that we can build a community, which is really what the Community for Higher Consciousness is about.
Yes.
And it's really kind of a model very similar to that, is that we're really bringing people together virtually and in the clinic that can help in this revolutionary, more holistic way of taking care of our health, building a better connection, clearing subconscious and ancestral trauma. It's
Releasing
huge.
toxins,
Releasing
mentally,
toxins.
emotionally, physically,
Yes.
spiritually, all the things.
And then
And then,
we are also adding and utilizing with great results brain tap. So brain tap.
I know, love it. I got one from Dr. Erika myself.
Yes. And are you loving it?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's fascinating.
We are loving it, and our patients are loving it. And so it's just another way to help balance brain waves and calm down the sympathetic nervous system, allow the parasympathetic to come up. So because stress by itself, Elizabeth, can cause inflammation.
Oh, for sure. I think stress is the root cause of almost everything that brings us into an imbalance.
Well, fair enough.
Like if we wanted to hit a root cause. And what is stressful for one person isn't for another. And based on people's weak spots in their constitution with chronic stress, it can express in their weak spot. So for some, it might be cardiovascular. For some, it might be, joints. For someone else, it might be autoimmune. And it's just like, how is your constitution being stimulated by that chronic stress? And a little bit of stress
it's good. It's important.
It's
necessary.
Important. It's necessary, or eustress, the
Right.
good kind of stress. But chronic stress over time erodes our birthright for health, which is everyone's birthright, even if
100%.
the older model operated different.
Well, and that's what I always tell my patients, is that you were born perfect.
Absolutely.
And by that, I mean, we weren't born with the conditions that you're coming in to see me with. So what happened? And I feel like the best way to describe that is, as children, if we're born perfect, we have this clean chalkboard. And as we grow, we get messages written on our chalkboard. And some of those messages are, you're loved, you're wonderful, look how talented you are. But for a lot of us, the messages that stick with us are, you're not good enough, you're unlovable, you're bad, you've done something wrong, you're unworthy. And that's why I love combining QNRT, quantum neural reset therapy, which is a hypothalamus reset, where we deactivate the trauma, and so that we can, because we can't erase the past, but we don't have to have that subconscious trigger,
that loop,
because we should be able to walk down the street or see someone or have an experience with someone that doesn't bring up a childhood trauma, which is this unknown stress, this unconscious stress, that we could be doing all of the meditation in the world, but if we haven't dealt with that or had help with that, because how do we deal with it if we don't know it's there?
Right.
So I'm seeing all of that, and I want to combine that in one space.
Yeah, it's lovely. Okay, so where is your one space for those listening who might be in Minnesota or in the Twin Cities?
So we are located right at the 494, 694, 94 interchange in the Woodbury-Oakdale area.
Nice.
So we are just a hop and a skip, not even a jump, from 3M, if people know that. We are located on the Oakdale side of that Woodbury-Oakdale intersection, right off of 10th Street and 694, or you can take Radio Inwood from 94. Straight shot.
And what about if people are interested in learning more about all the everything you're umbrelling under Beyond Wellness? What's the website that they can go to for you?
Great. So under the website is beyondwellnessnow.com. And there you will find links to Oxygen and Beyond, for the Beyond Oxygen information, all of that. And then beyondchiropractic.com link is also there. And then we have the links for our nurse practitioner, so you can find out more about her.
Amazing. And do you tend to, if someone's considering, right, because it depends on their foundation, 10 or 20 sessions for Beyond Oxygen, that takes about 3 weeks to get that in with consistency. Is that true?
Are you saying how many? Oh, so if you were going to do,
Like if I'm considering coming, would I be planning for like a 3-week kind of consecutive?
well, if you were going to be doing 20, let's just say,
Yep.
we would do 4 to 5 sessions a week
Mhm.
for 4 to 5 weeks.
Got it.
Right.
Okay. Great.
Hmm.
So just as listeners are sort of contemplating their health journeys and what
Right.
stimulus might be the right support, they can factor that in.
They can factor that in. And honestly, it's for the people who make that commitment like we do to go to the gym or
Right.
to do some of those daily practices, the benefits are phenomenal. And I realize people are busy, and we do have some other alternatives. You can rent chambers. I sell the chambers. So there are other options, and I'm willing and can discuss any option with anyone who's interested in talking about it.
That's amazing. So now that this has manifested from a year ago, last March to now, is there anything else you want to share with our listeners before we wind down? Like, is there?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do. Thank you for giving me that opportunity. We are having the grand opening. We had our soft opening in January, but our grand opening is going to be Saturday, March 30th. It's going to be from about 10 to 4, and you can come and look at the chambers. You can come and talk to the doctors. You can see this beautiful wellness clinic that we are working with some lovely people to get it all get the whole energy of the space filled with healing, high frequency energy, so that just being there is healing in itself. And so that's going to be at 7300 Hudson Boulevard North, Suite 210. And you'll know the building because it says Beyond Wellness right at top.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, can't wait to see the space. It's been under beautiful transformation.
Yes.
In really good hands. And it was beautiful before, but now you've expanded and grown, and
really, really excited and loving it.
yeah. And beauty heals.
Beauty heals.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dear.
Well, any other invitations to our listeners or to people that might be on the fence? Like,
absolutely. So we have classes coming up. I'm going to be teaching developing your intuition, deepening your intuition, and ancestry and other lifetimes. We've got some other classes coming in. I'm pulling some people in from the Twin Cities to kind of share their information. So if you would like to get on our email list, you can go to either of the 3 websites, but beyondwellnessnow.com. Send us your information, and we will put you on there to keep you up to date on all of the latest changes and events that are coming to the clinic. And really excited to share that with the community. It's been a work in progress for sure.
Absolutely. What would you say to your younger self 17 years ago as you sit here today?
Don't give up.
Yeah.
Follow your dream. And honestly, through all of the things that I have learned and then maybe just kind of coming to now, is that you're going to have adversity. You're going to have the good times and the bad times. And don't give up. Don't give up on your health. Don't give up on your dreams. If something isn't working out for you, look up. There is always a solution. I believe that to the core of my being. It is what wakes me up in the morning. It's what makes me love my job. You were born perfect. You came here for a purpose. And there's a lot of help out there to help you see that more clearly and support you on your journey. And I'm just so grateful to all of those who have helped me to this time. It takes a village, as you say, and that is absolutely true.
It is. Well, it's been a delight to have you in studio again and sharing your brilliance and your passion and everything that you are manifesting to support not only your own well-being, but those that you work with and partner with. And it's a privilege and an honor to know you and to see all this coming to fruition. So I can't say enough good things about Dr. Erika Way and Beyond Wellness, which houses Beyond Chiropractic and Beyond Oxygen, and the hyperbaric chamber therapy that you're bringing to the Twin Cities to support the health and wellness of many.
Well, and I just have to say thank you to you, Elizabeth, because you have given many people a voice who otherwise would not have had a voice. And I can only imagine what it took for you to bring this show and this podcast into reality. So thank you, because without that, there are many people who wouldn't know all the things.
Well, I appreciate that. And I really appreciate your support and ongoing support of the show. It's been a delightful partnership. So I'm grateful that people get to know you and get to know many, because there are a lot of brilliant people doing things to bring in this new time on earth and a new resource for healing, and many people who need the healing. And it's not just about health, it's about how we can use our bodies to do what we're here to do on earth.
Well, and not only how we can use our bodies, but how amazing our bodies are under the right conditions.
Yes.
And we don't have necessarily the right conditions. So yes.
So we get to make them.
We get to make them. We have the tools and the know-how.
We do. Well, this has been a delightful conversation. Thank you so much for taking time to come in. I know things are really ramping up over at the clinic, so I appreciate you taking time to come in and be with us in studio. This is Exploring Sovereignty with Elizabeth and our brilliant guest here, Dr. Erika Way. Definitely go check out Beyond Wellness. Give that website one last time.
Is beyondwellnessnow.com.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. This is Exploring Sovereignty with Elizabeth, and we've had the incredible delight to be in studio with Dr. Erika Way from Beyond Wellness, which houses Beyond Chiropractic and Beyond Oxygen, and also a nurse practitioner who does IV therapy, PRP, and direct primary care. And really, my takeaway is just that the future of health and wellness is about synergistic approach to health, and what do each of us need to really maximize our health and wellness so that we can be our most vibrant selves on the planet, and why hyperbaric chamber therapy is part of that equation. And also that there are going to be, I feel, more and more wellness clinics similar to what Dr. Erika Way has manifested and envisioned and brought forward in the Twin Cities. And I'm so grateful that she has slowed down enough to listen to those invitations that come forward for her over the last 17 years. And it's an honor and a privilege to see her transformation and all she's bringing to the Twin Cities to support people's health and wellness journeys so that they truly can be their most vibrant selves. So tune in, share the show with others, give the opportunity for others to check it out. And thank you so much for being part of this community at Exploring Sovereignty with Elizabeth and all the beautiful, stunning guests we have that get to join the show, and you as our community that are part of why we're here. May you be well, may you be happy.